coming up.
Who in Minister Jolie's office did you coordinate with in making those corrections, those clarifications that she mentioned in the July email?
These are two official documents from your department that cast serious discrepancies on the veracity of Mr. Clark's statement.
Did Tom Clark lie to this committee?
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
We are not doing opening statements, I understand. Wonderful. Mr. Barrett, the floor is yours. Go ahead, please. 6 minutes.
In Emily Nicholson's email of June 17, 2024 to Minister Jolie's Chief of Staff, she states, both CNGNYHOM, that's Mr. Clark, and staff have been instrumental throughout this process, with the HOM, Mr. Clark, providing the green light for the selection of the new residents. Do either of you have personal knowledge of Mr. Clark's involvement?
I don't have knowledge of his involvement, but no.
Have you spoken to Mr. Clark about this matter?
No.
So who relayed to you the information about this process?
It's a process that was a long process, Mr. Chair. It started 10 years ago, and all throughout those discussions, there was a lot of interaction with mission staff. So we are under the, we had a lot of discussion with people on the ground in the real property and administration team, and that information would have come from the administration team.
So when asked how Ms. Nicholson got this information, she stated that she engaged with the property branch, specifically you, sir, and your team, including the gentleman sitting to your right. So did you communicate, Mr. Dubois, or correspond with Ms. Nicholson about the summary that she had provided in her briefing note?
Mr. Chair, I did. We interact very often with Deputy Minister Associate Office.
Okay, so what was the date that you had that interaction?
I had a written interaction with that with Ms. Nicholson on June 14th.
Okay.
Where I was fulfilling a request to provide details with regard to the transaction.
And you, Mr. Hunzangbe?
Yes. Mr. Chair, I had an interaction with Emily Nicholson on June 16 on that matter.
What about on the matter of the correction that she issued by email on July the 25th?
Mr. Chair, on July 25th, I had an interaction with Ms. Nicholson, but it was a request for additional information and clarification, which I provided. There was no notion of correction in that at that moment.
So nothing that covered her previously having said that the head of mission was dissatisfied with his residence and was looking for a change, or that he'd been instrumental in selecting the new place. No change in that verbiage that she'd used in that briefing note.
We took the July 25th opportunity to add more information and clarify, because the message that came out on June 14th that I provided was done very quickly, and tried to summarize it as much as possible. On the 25th, there was more details in the message.
Since we're going back and forth about a lot of dates, could both of you gentlemen please table for the committee any specific correspondence on this or surrounding those two dates between you and Ms. Nicholson? Would you be comfortable providing that to the committee?
We can go back and, but I believe that those correspondence would be included in the package that has already been submitted to the committee.
Okay, so it looks like Ms. Nicholson shared the truth on the 17th of June in her email. And then there was interaction with the minister's office. And then this committee sent for Mr. Clark as part of our investigation. And then she issued a correction. And then her story changed from the truth to what she offered later. And that the chronology, the path, appears like that direction came from the property branch. So, gentlemen, you're the subject matter experts. Who in Minister Jolie's office did you coordinate with in making those corrections, those clarifications that she mentioned in the July email?
Well, Mr. Chair, as I explained, the message on June 14th was to provide information on the transaction. On June 25th, we provided more information. I did not coordinate directly with the minister's office. I was in contact with Ms. Nicholson, who's the chief of staff of the deputy minister associate.
So, did you have any interaction with anyone in the minister's office?
No, I didn't have any interaction.
So
with
between the
minister's
14th of June and the 25th of July, you had no interaction with the minister's office?
No.
So in the original summary that you said you provided to Ms. Nicholson, your summary said that Mr. Clark was instrumental? That was the information that you provided to her, and that it was issued hastily, or that was something that she surmised on her own?
That information is not contained in what I provided.
Okay, so where would she glean that information from? She described herself as merely air traffic control. She was just taking bits of information out of the air and landing them on a piece of paper. So if not from you, who is you're the responsible individual, the subject matter expert, then where would she have got that?
Well, Mr. Chair, I think Ms. Nicholson has testified on it to say that it was a misstatement that she had put in her email, and then she expressed her intent that was to basically convey that the head of mission was aware of the situation.
Sir, she said that you provided her with the summary.
I provided Ms. Nicholson with a summary of the transaction, and there was no mention of Mr. Clark being instrumental.
That is our time, gentlemen. We'll go now to Mr. Souza, please.
The question now before us is, was the minister involved in the decision to sell the old official residence or the purchase of the new residence? Did that happen? Was the minister involved in those decisions?
Mr. Chair, no, the minister was not involved in that decision.
Is it normal, however, to have the tenant of the residence be aware of what is taking place?
It's absolutely part of the process to make sure that the tenant is aware of the plan.
And would you ask the tenant for the status of which the issues are undergoing and their ability to make that move?
Well, in building the statement of requirements, we will solicit the input from the mission administration that may include some.
So there's nothing untoward, regarding the semantics that's being passed around here today, there's nothing untoward about having that discussion, correct?
Correct.
All right. Did Tom Clark have any influence in making the decision?
No, Mr. Clark didn't have any impact on or influence on the decision. The decision followed a process that was supervised by a governance body that had stakeholders from all over the department.
Understood. Did Tom Clark approve the decision to sell or buy?
No, he did not.
Right.
We'll go to Mr. Brock.
Officials, you have now confirmed that the consular office in New York City is one of the most important missions in America. And by extension, clearly the Consul General, Tom Clark, is in a very influential position within America and his relationship with Canada. Would you agree with that?
The mission in New York is one of the largest mission and most important one we have.
And Tom Clark himself carries a lot of weight. He was chosen for a reason, and his position carries a lot of weight. You agree with that?
I would agree that all heads of missions have an important kind of status.
Right. Now, Tom Clark appeared at this committee September 12th, 2024, and I'm going to read out his words. Mr. Chair, I will repeat once again, and please, if you wish, you can put me under oath for this. I had nothing to do with the decision to sell the old official residence. I had nothing to do with the decision to buy the new official residence. I had nothing to do with deciding on its amenities or its location. Officials, we have two official documents from your department that say to the contrary. The first was through an ATIP, and it says that the Consul General in April 2023, 2 months after his appointment, shortly after his famous jovial ride in the limousine with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, informed ACM senior management that the property is not suitable for representational activities, and it is not suitable as a residence and requires immediate replacement. Immediate replacement. That follows up with an email from Emily Nicholson, which confirms that the Counsel General, Tom Clark, and his staff had been instrumental throughout this process, with Tom Clark providing the green light for the selection of the new residents. These are two official documents from your department that cast serious discrepancies on the veracity of Mr. Clark's statement. It's time for you to stop running cover for Tom Clark and to confirm, as you've already confirmed, that you've been in regular contact with his office, that he indeed was instrumental. He asked for an immediate replacement. So both versions of the truth can't be right at the same time. Tom Clark has been lying to this lying to this committee, lying to the public, and you are covering up, other officials at GAC are covering up for this lie. So what do you have to say about that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to clarify. One comment that is being referred in terms of Mr. Clark, what Mr. Clark would have said is like third-hand information that would have been reported by his team to the project team that have made.
Well, let's talk about that. What does ACM stand for?
It's an acronym, a symbol that we use in the department.
Okay. He says he informed ACM senior management. I want a list of everybody he spoke to. Can you give me some names right now?
Well, the document says that Congen inform ACM. Congen is the mission, not the Consul General himself. So
Okay.
the mission has reported that the
So
official-
who were the names of the officials at GAC that Singen reported to?
We are ACM here. We
You are
the
also
senior management.
ACM?
Yeah.
Okay.
The both of us.
And you will table any and all documentation to this committee in relation to that level of communication in April of 2023?
I can go back and look at what exists, but yeah.
Okay, so we have you two individuals in person. We have one who's having difficulty connect. Was she also involved?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Is it just the two of you?
Yes?
Okay. What about senior management? Were they informed?
Well, we did inform senior management, being the deputy minister associate, on June 14th of the transaction.
Who in particular at the mission itself in New York City were you communicating with?
Oh, my interaction with the mission, it was through the head of administration.
Okay, I want names. Can you identify all the names that you were communicating with at the mission?
Yeah, I did provide the name at the last meeting. It would be the management concert officer.
Was that the only person?
There are two of them because there was a rotation in 2023, but yes, I have two individuals that have been in contact.
And you've supplied this committee with those names?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baines, sir.
Is it common for a new head of a mission to express views on their accommodation at all?
Thank you for the question. It would be common for any head of mission or any occupant of our provided properties abroad to have an opinion about their housing.
It's important for a workplace area to be separated from a living space where you don't need, when you're conducting business, people walking through certain areas. That would be a private area. I understand that.
We will go to Mr. Brock for 5.
When the Counsel General, Tom Clark, was exposed as a liar in relation to the documents that this committee received, he wrote a letter to this committee. He said all his comments to GAC officials, meaning the two of you gentlemen, were only made in passing. And I think we can all agree as to what that term of art means, in passing. If I say, this meeting went well, that would be a comment in passing. If this meeting didn't go well, that would be a comment in passing. But when Tom Clark, the head of this most important mission in the United States, calls for an immediate replacement of the old residence, if that came from his officials, they certainly wouldn't be doing that without his authorization. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't be able to comment on this.
Well, of course. The
Because
bottom
I was-
line is, he is the head of the mission. Someone 5 or 6 or 10 layers below him is not going to make a decision to GAC that says, in my view, this official residence is no longer suitable. We need an immediate replacement. That comes from the top and it's filtered down. That was a direction made by Tom Clark. He influenced GAC in making this decision. Isn't that correct? He was instrumental. He gave the green light. He has lied to this committee. Do you agree that he has lied to this committee?
To my knowledge, he didn't lie to the committee. To my knowledge, I received a comment that has been referred to from his staff to our project management team. It's been written.
You
in the
think the
document.
words, "We need an immediate replacement of this extravagant penthouse in New York City," you think that was made just a comment in passing? Like, how's the weather today? What are you doing for the weekend? It's a direction. Do you believe that's a direction? An immediate replacement. I want a new residence. This old residence is not suitable for me. That's a direction. Do you agree?
Mr. Clark didn't mention that to me.
Thank you. I cede my time to Ms. Kuzi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are head of chancery and head of administration the same currently at CNGNY? Yes.
Yeah, the management concert officer is the head of
Excellent.
administration. I mentioned head of administration
Perfect.
for simplicity.
Thank you so much, Messi. Who were the heads of property under Mr. Bott and Mr. Vistra, please?
The head of?
Heads of property.
Oh, that would report to them?
Correct.
I wouldn't know their name.
Okay, could you please find out the information and get that to the committee, please?
I can look it up, yes.
Thank you. Does, under the current platform structure, does WSHDC still have responsibility over CNGNY?
Can you repeat the first acronym, sorry?
WSHDC, does it still have responsibility in the platform over CNGNY?
No.
Okay. That's interesting. That's changed. In your opinion, because when I left the platform, Washington still had responsibility over CNGNY. In your opinion, as an employee at a mission, would you do anything you possibly could to fulfill the request of the head of mission?
Well, if you're at the mission, you try to do what is best for the operations of the mission, which includes the head of mission being able to deliver what he needs to deliver.
Certainly. And would you say that the head of mission has the final say in terms of decision making regarding the mission?
Regarding the mission operations, the head of mission has the authority.
And thank you for that. And Mr. Chair, I will say to Canadians who are watching, I was at Global Affairs Canada for close to a decade and a half. I served in missions abroad, and I can tell you that the head of mission has the final say on all of decisions. You, as an employee in the mission, will do whatever you possibly can to fulfill the will of the head of mission. If the head of mission wants an event, you will do whatever you can to create that event for that head of mission. If the head of mission wants a relationship built, you will do whatever you can to create that relationship for the head of mission. If the head of mission in this case wants a new property, you will do whatever you can in an attempt to get that head of mission the new property. So you said yourself the mission informed you. Unfortunately, it seems to be you continue to run cover for Mr. Clark. So I will ask you one final time. Did Tom Clark lie to this committee?
No, Tom Clark didn't lie to this committee. This decision was made independently by headquarters, and he didn't have influence on it.